Good morning. Today is Halloween, Wednesday morning. Welcome to the Wednesday Wisdom. Every one of these calls are recorded and posted on my website, helloextraordinarylife.com. You can go there under Insider Calls, find all these recorded calls. I'm up to, this, what did we decide, 69th or 70th call that I've been doing. So more than a year, probably going on a year and a half. I think May of last year was when I started. So lots of calls, lots of topics to listen to. I coach one-on-one, so if you know you're ready to dive in and go deeper and really move through some stuff in your life, I'm available to coach and mentor with that. I also offer a 6-week course, which I'm right in the middle of, and that is a journey inside, and it's a group course. So there'll be, I don't have a date for the next one yet, but once I start, I close the door, and it's because it's just those that are in the group that stay in the group, so that it stays that tight-knit, intimate people in it. Well, let's see. Today, October 31st, 1994, is when I got clean and sober. Crazy how the time flies. So I wanted to share a little bit about that because I realized I'd been sitting in this place of why. I started reading this book called Start With Why, and I started writing about it, and I started really contemplating, the why part, because I can tell you what I do. I coach, or I mentor, or I teach, and I can tell you how I do that even. But the why part, that's most people I've ever talked to talk about the why. People will subscribe to the why. And in the book that I was reading, he talked a lot about Apple. They sell you their why. They make computers, and they have iTunes, and they have all kinds of things, but really what people subscribe to and their loyalty comes from why. He mentioned Harley Davidson. And so most of these big companies, while they have really amazing product, other people do too. People subscribe to the why. So I'm pondering this. Why am I doing this thing? Why am I coaching? Why am I so passionate about what I do? And I always get reflective around the time of my birthday, my sobriety birthday. And my life just sort of, by default, I've coached my whole life. I was a hairstylist since 1986. Massage therapy since 1998, got certified in 2008 and 2014, I think it was, for coaching. So now I can say I actually have some training. And I've always done that. That's been a part of my life. And I spent a lot of my life trying to fix people, fix you. At one point I was interested in psychology because if I could fix you, then maybe I could fix me, because I didn't know how to do that. And I felt very broken. And walking around with these wounds I didn't know what to do with. I didn't know how to do it any different. And therefore all of my value, all of my worth, all of my esteem came from outside of me. I looked externally for everything because I had no worth of my own that I could generate from the inside. That's why I called my group Loving Yourself from the Inside Out, my closed Facebook group. That's the subtitle of Hello Extraordinary Life, because that was the journey. When I got sober and I actually started working the 12 steps, that was the journey, was the one inside. It's an inside job. Everything happens from inside first. And I didn't know that, and I didn't know how to do that. When I finally was introduced to the rooms of AA, I came with a boyfriend at the time. He was on the court card, and I was there to support him. And it took me a little while to realize that. I knew I was codependent. I knew I was trying to fix the world because I couldn't fix me. But I didn't see how what I was putting in, whether it was alcohol, drugs, money, sex, work, all the ism part, There's many acronyms for that: alcoholism, workaholism, the I, self, and me, the insidious spiritual malady. There's all kinds of acronyms for that. And I fit the bill for all those. And what I could see from people that worked a program, any kind of program of 12 steps, they had something inside. They had a light inside that I wanted, and they had a way that they could live that I wanted. And I was blessed. I realized much later I was blessed with that gift of desperation. And I just knew I wanted something different, and I had no idea how to do it. And so I followed someone who guided me and helped me through doing that work. And then I grew through, really. I didn't switch anything. I grew through where I was incredibly codependent. My motive was always to fix, because then I would feel worthy, I'd feel needed, I'd feel loved. That's really what drove that, trying to prove myself. That was my driver. If I can prove I can fix you, or I can help you, or I can do something, then I'm worthy. And I'm valuable, and I'm needed, and I'm loved. Obviously, none of that really works. But until we know something else, we do what we do. And somewhere along the way in the transformation and lots of self-help, lots of outside help in the self-help genre, lots of debt. I went into debt a lot, looking for that magical answer to fix me. Somewhere that shifted and was transformed to a different motive. So I can tell you a lot of my behaviors, a lot of my desire to help, and my desire to work with people and guide people and mentor people, that is the same. I do a lot of the same things. The motive today is a 180. It's totally different. It's the total opposite. So when I stopped trying to prove myself, there was a moment one day I realized, after all of this transformation, transmuting the wounds inside, that, I don't know, it's like this divine moment of, I don't have to prove myself. There's nothing to prove. I'm a whole, complete human being. I have some wounds, I have some healing to do, I have some love, I have some joy, I have all these things. But I'm whole and complete, exactly as I am. The next thought, well, if that is actually true, and I'm not trying to prove myself and my worth and my value, then what drives me? What motivates me to get up in the morning and live my life if I'm not living out of fear and proving and always striving for the next thing, because whatever I was doing was never enough, never the right thing. See the cycle. It's just a cycle. It kept on, and underneath all that is never enough, never good enough. Always trying to prove. And so I sat with that question, pondered it. What drives me? What motivates me? And it took a while. I don't know what a while is. It was a few months, I think, that I realized my why and my purpose is what drives me today. That's what has me wake up in the morning and look at what's on my agenda and who do I get to work with, or who do I get to be in front of, or who do I get to mentor or help. Who do I get to be a light in the world for? In a way that helps you become light. Helps you see your wholeness and completeness. And that's what I live every day. How do I be my best self every day? How does my greatest self show up every day? Being human, experiencing human, allowing myself to be human, and in all of that, it allows other people to also show up in their authentic humanness. And it was in writing the email that I sent out for this call, as I got to it and to the bottom of it, I was like, oh, the why just started pouring out of me about shining my light. And that there's a poem by Marianne Williamson, and she talks about what we're really afraid of is shining our light in the world. But we're not here to live in the dark. We're here to live in the light, and we're here to shine our light, which gives others permission to shine their light. We're just reflecting each other. And it's always quite surreal when I come to this birthday of this year, 24. And it seems like no time, and it seems like a lifetime. And I look back at the woman that began this journey when I got sober, and it's like a whole other book. Like, that book is closed from when I got sober, and I get to tell stories out of it now, because that woman evolved into this woman, and I don't really recognize that woman anymore. I know I came from that place. I know I had that gaping hole, and that gaping hole was like the size of the Grand Canyon. Huge. Nothing filled it up ever. To today, between being in recovery and a lot of other self-help, now having my own coach has led me to this place of being able to coach others and guide others on their journey. Because that's why we're here. We're here to experience life at its fullest, every aspect of it. It's not always pretty, and it's not always fun, and it's beautiful and glorious all at the same time. And I was told once along the way that my default emotion, when I default and I'm triggered by something, is anger. And when I really tapped into it, it was rage. And I read, or somebody told me one time, as deeply as I am angry or rageful is also as deeply as I could love and feel joy and happiness. Now, I'm very comfortable in anger, in that hole or that angst or chaos or drama. I'm comfortable there. I don't like it anymore, and it's not so comfortable, but it's very, very familiar. Realizing I could also experience that much love felt terrifying at first. Because if I feel that much love, that means I'm more of that whole person, more of that valuable person, more of that I love myself on the inside. I can look in the mirror and say, I really love this woman I'm looking at, and really mean it. But when I first heard that, I could love that deeply. Oh, it just was so incredibly uncomfortable, because I knew how angry I could get. But I had no idea what it would be like to experience the love of that. The total opposite. And today, I still get uncomfortable. I get uncomfortable when I get that angry, too. Because it takes a lot. It takes a lot to be angry. It takes a lot more to be angry than it does to feel loving. And you know what I get to do today? And I'll invite you to do? Is be uncomfortable. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because that's where we go deeper. And that's where we stretch. And that's where we evolve into. And that's where we raise our set point. If we're set at, thermostat set at 78, and we're not going to get too high or too far below, let's raise it. Let's get uncomfortable and keep raising it. Keep free falling into it. Because that's our experience here of being human and becoming whole, is to experience it all. And then choose. I don't have to stay in that anger for a long time. I can acknowledge it, recognize it, call someone, vent, do whatever I need to do, move through it. It's part of the key, is to move through it, not to stay in it. But we have to allow it and recognize it and acknowledge it. And then I want to stay in the love. So when I can move into that place of love and kindness and compassion, I want to stay there. I want to keep raising the bar and keep free falling into that and keep going in that direction. Doesn't mean life never triggers me. It does. And I have my moments. I just don't have to live in them for days or weeks or months anymore. To hours or minutes instead. And that's the progress. I'll stop there. I could share lots more, but I'll stop there. Anybody want to share? What did you get? Any aha moment? Takeaway?
This is Lori. I just realized that's why I went into nursing, to fix somebody and to prove myself and to get love, because I felt there was something missing in me.
Good one.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's big. It's big.
That's why I felt comfortable in my professional life, but not in my personal life, because I didn't think I was whole. I felt like there was an unworthiness in me and fearful that people would find out who I really was and wouldn't like the me.
Yes.
And I think I was afraid to find out who I really was.
Yes. Absolutely true.
Interesting.
It's way bigger inside of us than it is once we acknowledge it and speak it. Once we speak it and realize that we're not alone, then it loses the power we've been giving it for all those years.
And it's also comforting to know that I'm not the only one that's been stuck in that mode, that there's others. And it's through sharing that we realize that maybe I'm not so nutty after all. You know?
Exactly. You're not.
Anyway, but thanks for sharing that.
Thank you. Anybody else want to share?
Hi, Marty. It's Teddy.
Hi, Teddy.
I was just feeling it, and I totally resonate with everything that you've said, and also, you just when you do speak your truth, you let it out. You know, it releases.
Mm-hmm.
And it is nice to be able to have somebody else in the same situation, no matter what it is. If it's, somebody who's ill or somebody who's passed or whatever, it seems to me like the only time you can understand something like that is if you're kind of going through it at the same time.
Yes.
I also have had some addiction problems and sobriety. I tried to go through the 12-step route. I don't know, for some reason I don't do real well structured program. So I kind of went out on my own on this one, and I was able to make it through it, and I came out fairly unscathed, but it was a long road.
It can be, yes.
Mine was more of a getting in trouble with the law and stuff, and driving around inebriated and getting in trouble and that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, that happens.
Yeah, and then I had some health issues too, so everything kind of came at a crescendo at the same time. And I got to hand it to you. I think we're about the same time going into sobriety.
Awesome.
I think I'm 24 years. I'm about 21, something like that, but I don't really.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I cut everything loose. I mean, I just didn't even, I said, that's it, no alcohol, no cigarettes, no coffee, no nothing, until I could see something at the other side. So,
amazing.
I felt so much better afterwards. So, I said, no, this is definitely the right path for me. So, and I just continue to work on it every day, and that's all I can do. But,
yep.
That's why when I saw your meetup, I said, ooh, I like the sound of this.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for being here today. Anything for you, Lisa?
Yeah, it hits a lot of places for me. I just want to congratulate you for all you've done, the woman you are.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. Lisa and I have been friends for a number of years now, so I appreciate you. I'm glad you're here today.
I'm just busy working on other areas that you've told me to focus on, so I'm feeling my own stuff right now. Sorry.
I get it. I get it.
I keep telling myself progress and not perfection, and progress can be just baby steps. And there's a lot of times that I may take 3 steps forward and take 2 steps back, and then I just start all over again.
Sometimes it seems like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does. And here's the thing, is that we're always going up. It may feel the same, and it may even look the same, but we gather tools all the time, and we're constantly going up the spiral. Unless we want to dive into the pit of it, we're usually moving up. So if you'll look at your evidence in your life, you'll see that each time gets a little shorter.
Yeah.
And that's what I remind people, because it looks the same sometimes, it feels the same, and I used to go, oh my God, why am I doing this again? I've done this how many times? Am I not done yet? Clearly I'm not. I'm doing it again. But the timeline is way shorter, and that's the evidence I look for today. That's why I said that today it might be hours instead of days and weeks that I will ruminate on something, because I know that process, and I know how to get through it now. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Have an amazing day. Happy Halloween. And I will talk to you all soon, if I don't hear you before next week.
Okay. Everybody take care and have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you. What the hell?